future and senses the trajectory of where things are going. And this is the one thing that I most appreciated about Rush Limbaugh as I learned to listen to him. He would not necessarily mimic or parrot or take the talking points of what was going on in the news cycle like so many of us do. You see one program is redundant on another, all covering the Will Smith slap of Chris Rock. I like to only cover those subjects that I think there's a unique perspective on that the average person hasn't heard. And then I'm satisfied and I'm gratified when we can bring that to the surface. Sometimes we achieve it, sometimes we don't, because we do it intuitively. We're having a conversation and we're probing after that thing that's in the atmosphere that needs to be found. And a while ago, we were talking about the one world order, the new world order, the connection between that and the vaccine madness. And then the link started to be formed for us as we heard Yoram Hazani begin to articulate as a lead architect of Klaus Schwab's reset strategy, the beautiful merger of technology in the new world order. And then I was saying, and we were talking about how the battle is going to be, and I said it, we said it right here, that the battle between the Ukraine situation is a bigger enchilada. There's no good guy, bad guy in this. Although you could say it's admirable that Zelensky didn't leave the dugout while he was being bombed. Yes, same thing with Churchill. Didn't leave the dugout, didn't fly to Philadelphia. Admirable. But the real big meta story there, 30,000-foot narrative is the new world order and the World Economic Forum and the Davos crowd. I used to call it Davos, and then Gordon Pennington told me it's Davos. So the Davos crowd was surrounding Putin, and Putin's days were numbered. Putin was old school. Putin was about, he's nationalistic. And well, of course, he's the Eurasia landmass. If you look at where Russia is, it actually connects to China. And if you even look at Putin, he looks more like, if you look at him squint, you'll see there's more Asian Russian characteristics. So they don't think like we do in the West. And there's a dividing line in culture between East and West, especially since Europe went so woke and the Russian Orthodox Church is part of the nationalist zeal of Russia. In other words, the two are woven into one. What that tells you is that Russia sees itself as a nation state. This man sees himself as a nation with empire in its blood, meaning at one time it had Eastern Europe. It had Latvia and Poland and Hungary and all these places within its orbit. And he calls it, Putin says it's a tragic day when the Soviet Union broke up. It wasn't a great day. To him, it was tragic. It's like the United States breaking up. So you don't take a guy like that with 1,600 nuclear-tipped weapons and try to surround him in an economic anaconda move where you're going to asphyxiate him and try to keep penetrating his culture with your woke Western, I hate to say it, LGBTQ ideas, because he hates that stuff. So Ukraine became the thorn in the flesh for him because he sees it as an extension of Russia, forfeited by Russia, being weaponized by the New World Order, and he punched back. And curiously enough, it was Nigel Farage, the leader of the Brexit down there in Britain, who delivered a speech, and I think it was in 2014. I played it last night at 1 a.m. in the morning, actually. I listened to it. And he was warning Parliament they were poking the bear by flirting with Ukraine joining NATO, that it was clear that Putin and Russia have been warning that they don't see the aggressiveness of the New World Order as friendly to their future. They see it as a threat to their nationalist existence, and that he's warned he will fight if they keep pushing, surrounding him, and planting military bases on his borders. And he said, do not be surprised if this doesn't provoke a military response. You don't poke the bear. And that was Nigel Farage, and so they were playing it again because he warned this would happen. He's the only one who actually, everyone else was like shocked. Well, he said it was coming. So what I'm saying is the big battle, the big winner here is China, because China can watch us come to blows. In a unipolar world or in a multipolar world where there's different centers of power, the United States could only preserve that world order with a Trump involved, because Trump could keep the border healthy, manufacturing returned, the economy strong, energy vibrant, and the military unpredictably powerful. That era is gone. And I don't know if it's going to be recovered. I know everybody out there wants me to go prophesy. He's going to be back any day. I'm not going to tell you that, because I'm watching the handwriting on the wall of America. If there isn't a change in America, America may be under a divine judgment. And I think it's kind of a gradual experience to try to provoke us to recover our martial vitality and our moral bearings. But let's see how the church responds. I'm not looking at the church. I'm not seeing the church respond yet. They're more worried about Christian nationalism than they are about judgment on America. That's the weird part. So I'm going to bring it back. We've got a couple of clips. Set up what we're going to look at, Mercedes, because this is the conversation of empires or world order, Davos, versus these stubborn little nation states, and how the world might break up into pockets of governed organization. And that would be the Bible's prediction of 10 kings or 10 economic regions just on the horizon.
I love it. So yeah, no, I was watching this morning. I do my morning crypto research. And the guy I was watching played a clip from, it's called the World Government Summit 2022. It just happened a couple of days ago. And so he was playing a clip. Day one, session one was, is the world ready for a new world order? And so they had a whole panel of people. And I brought it to you this morning. I said, you've got to listen to this, because this is the stuff you've been talking about. And so I've got a couple different clips lined up. And I just want you to listen to what they're saying about Russia, about where we are now, and where things are going to be going. So let's play this first clip.
We are in a pivot with foreign policy to a policy that fundamentally and clearly serves economic needs, geopolitics to geoeconomics, as Dr. Anwar has suggested. I think is certainly an extremely important driver of what is going on today. But your sense, I want to get a sense of where we're at and the impact that this will have on global policy going forward and how this world is run.
The impact of the economics of it all. Well, first of all, let's take a look at what makes up world orders. World orders are that a group of countries across the world agree to a set of rules, and they agree to play by them. The second is there's a balance of power, so that no power feels that it can subjugate a neighbor. That's what we've lost in Russia. There wasn't a balance of power. Europe decided the age of military power is over. And so Russia is attempting to subjugate Ukraine. But then the third part of this is a consensus that everyone accepts this. It's almost too utopian to come about. And so what's emerging right now, which I think is a danger, is a Chinese-centered order and a US-centered order, and that we're breaking down again. And that's not a healthy outcome. It's not the outcome we want. But that gets to the economics, and that's what I wanted to touch on, because the economics are that China, I think in 2016-17, invested $53 billion in the United States. Last year, $1 billion. So there's already a decoupling. There's already a breaking down. And the question is, how does this play out right now? And so I think you're going to see, in an economic sense, you're going to see these two worlds, but it's not going to be that neat. I think you're going to see the evolution of regional organizations, and regional, because it's so hard to create a world order, I think you're going to see regional orders spring up. And then you have links between regional orders, but they will be very much guided by economic interests, social interests, and also security interests. You see things like the Quad, like the Abraham Accords, so ad hoc, not inflexible alliances, and that seems to me what's emerging at the moment.
So Lance, I loved this clip because literally this is the stuff you've been talking about. This is what you've been saying about Russia and how, and it's so controversial what you're saying, right? I mean, you've gotten a lot of pushback from people saying, why aren't you supporting Ukraine? What's going on? And you're saying, listen, an inadvertent consequence of Putin going after Ukraine is that he is throwing a wrench into the new world order that they're trying to form in Europe. I mean, the language that this guy used I thought was so interesting. He says, we're breaking down again. Did you hear him say that? We're breaking down again. And as a result, we're going to end up with regional orders because it's too difficult to create a new world order. Isn't that? I just thought it was fascinating, but I wanted to hear your comments on it.
Yes. So and the result of this is what Davos decided they wanted was to poke the bear and to provoke the bear into they're just giddy with the fact that they're attempting to crush the economy through their woke corporate alliances, all particularly American. And you got Thomas Friedman with his delirious fever dream of celebration over how, oh, you corporations individually went at it and you crushed all the citizens of Russia. You've put them into a tailspin like a Great Depression, 140 million people suffering. This is the success of this working together in unity through technology and corporations governing politics with them. But it's the stupidest thing in the world, because what that strategy did was it made all the Russians who would be upset with Putin for what he's doing sympathetic to each other and him, because it looks like the West hates them and we're attacking them. And of course, they control the media. So they're saying, look how they hate us. So it wasn't a well thought out strategy. It drove China and Russia together, which we always want to keep separated. But you know what? The world order likes it. I'll tell you why they like it. They now have an iron curtain. They have a region. Watch what he said. They have a region they could bring into their new world order. Europe and the United States.
Are you thinking about clicking away? Don't click away. The whole podcast is over on lancewallnau.com/podcast. Go download the whole thing. Go there. They're there every day. The full uncensored truth just for you.